to take you to Soweto, South Africa, where Hector Peterson was killed. And we're also going to take you to the Apartheid Museum. We're going to start by going to the area where Hector Peterson was killed. He is a South African schoolboy who was shot and killed at the age of 12 during the Soweto Uprising and Massacre in 1976. So the police opened fire on Black students protesting the enforcement of teaching in Afrikaans, mostly spoken by white and colored populations in South Africa. The pupils wanted to learn their native languages, Xhosa and Zulu. Hector was shot, and he was picked up by Mabusa Mahugabo, who, together with Peterson's sister Antoinette, ran towards a car to get him out of there. He was pronounced dead on arrival. I actually got to meet Antoinette, and I listened to her story, and this is her story in her words.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mama Antoinette Sitole. This is Hector Peterson's sister, the lady in the
visit. Well, about the photo, actually the day was thoroughly planned. You know, we were told in 1975 that things are going to change in the new year. But you know how students are. We'll see when the time comes. Yep. Yes, the new year came and we are very excited. We just summed everything up. Whatever news are going to be told at schools, obviously is something exciting. It's new year. Yes, we went to our different schools and we were thoroughly explained that the syllabus has changed. That means already that we are going to be taught in the medium of Afrikaans, subjects like mathematics, biology, physical science. You know, there and then there was disruption. Why should we learn in our precious language? Where in this planet are we really going to speak Afrikaans besides South Africa and Namibia? Well, some thought maybe Germany or Sweden, but at the end of it all, we really had to come up with plans. And by the way, we were taught most of the subjects in English, so Afrikaans and our different cultural languages were taught as a subject. That means twice a week. So the enforcement of learning those critical subjects in Afrikaans, that caused a spark. So we had to come up with ideas or plans, but the only solution was to approach high school students, of which there were those subtle political organizations like Black Consciousness, South African Student Movement, South African Student Organization. Even though we went days later, you know, because we're doubtful and killing one another. And his cultural name, which was Zolile. Zolile means calmness. So I called out his name. He quickly looked around. You could see that he heard that somebody called out his name. And when he looked from where I was, I just waved and he came closer smiling. You know, I just said to him, it seems as if things are getting out of hand. I'll make sure we get home, we'll be okay. Well, I was just saying that, you know, trying to be brave and bold, I was very scared. So while I continued talking to him, there was another shot, so we had to go back into hiding. Unfortunately, we went two separate ways. When it's calm, as I emerged back to the pavement, he was nowhere to be seen. Yes, I looked around, my eyes roving, thinking I might spot him again. But not very far from where I was, like something happened there, and already students were busy gathering the scene. So I sort of had two minds, whether I should go and investigate or stay. Eventually, I chose to stay, because I thought he might come around looking for me and we are going to miss one another. But I was very anxious to know what was happening there. I had to stay. Yes, my eyes were roving and at the same time trying to think that if he comes around, we can take any street. If not, we should wait for other students to be in a group of 5 or 6. Then we can hit the road. I don't know. Maybe because my mind was wandering and I was also confused, I just saw a man coming from nowhere running towards me. As that man passed me, my eyes followed him, and actually he was focusing at that crowd where students were gathered. When he got there, you could see that he was making way, pushing these other students. And it also seemed like he was struggling or trying to get something from these other students' hands. As he lifted, yes, I could see the body frame. As he lifted for the second time, the first thing that I spotted, it was my brother's shoes. So I tried running to the scene. Already they were on their way, running towards me. I joined them, and as we continue running, I was asking this man, "Who are you? This is my brother, been looking for him. Where are you taking him?" The man just kept on running. Then I looked at my brother. I saw blood coming from the side of the mouth. I panicked. "Who are you? Can't you see my brother is hurt? Where are you taking him?" He never said anything. A car just stopped in front of us, and one lady jumped out of the car, introduces herself as a journalist and said she can help us. As that man was about to put my brother in the car, he said, "Oh, he's dead." Hearing that, I was sort of like torn into two. I could see myself on the other end crying desperation. To me, it was like, this is not real. It can't be happening. The next moment, I was at the clinic, and the clinic looked very strange, like it has been long deserted. But I knew there were people there. So I took bang, knock, windows, crying out for help. And when my doctor came out, he took my brother out of the car inside the clinic, and he said to me there was nothing more that he could do. I understood him very well. Yes, I stood there, trying to find myself. Then I decided, let me just go next to the window inside the clinic. And as I looked through the window, outside there, it was another chapter. In fact, students were retaliating. Like everywhere else in the morning, we have delivery vans for bread, milk. Even some of our white colleagues used to work here in Soweto as teachers, administrators, you name them, and they were caught in the act. In amusement, while I was watching the stoning of the delivery vans, already some students have looted those vans, their loaves of bread in their hands. From the other side of the window, a van came rolling down as it was stoned 3 blocks away from here, and on the side of the door there was an abbreviation of Western Board Administration. That means that car belonged to the government. And at that moment, anything that belongs to the government was destroyed in any form. Yes, that car lost control and swerved to where most of the students were. You know, when that man was pulled out of the car, he was a white man. Each and everything that could kill a human being was used on him. You name them: knives, spades, stones, anything. You know, I just froze. Then I thought, now my mind is really playing with me. It was unbelievable. Days later, we heard that the very same man who was killed, it was Dr. Van Halstein, who was assigned here in Soweto as a social worker, and so many people knew him. That was sad. But all those who died did not die in vain. As people, we managed to take out the good from bad, to live by today, to shape ourselves and our country. Thank you very much. If you have questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. 15th of June, there were 23, and from that day on up to December 1976, 577 people were killed, and it could be more.
Next, we're going to go to the Apartheid Museum, which is a museum that illustrates the 20th century history of South Africa. It also has a Gold Reef City complex, which was opened in November of 2001. Apartheid was a system of institutionalized racial segregation that existed in South Africa and Southwest Africa from 1948 to the early 1990s. It was characterized by an authoritarian political culture based on Besekeket, which ensured that South Africa was dominated politically, socially, economically by the nation's minority white population. Under this system, white citizens held the highest status, followed by Indians, coloreds, and Black Africans. Pillars of the Constitution is the first exhibit visitors see when visiting the Apartheid Museum. Located in the courtyard, it includes one pillar for each of the 7 values that are enshrined in the South African Constitution: democracy, equality, reconciliation, diversity, responsibility, respect, and freedom. I wasn't able to get a whole lot here because you're not allowed to have cameras and videos and stuff in here, so I got what I could. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my videos. And remember, it's up to you to make it fun and make it yours. We'll see you the next time.